And happy Friday, everyone. So for today, our video lesson, we're going to work on multiplying binomials. Uh, I guess we might monkey around with some monomials and trinomials a little bit in it, but just about everything we have to do, we'll be working with binomials. If you missed our Wednesday video lecture, our conference, we did adding and subtracting polynomials. So if you missed that, feel free to watch that, do the assignment. We're going to move right into multiplying binomials here. So our objectives is we can identify a monomial, binomial, and trinomial. We can multiply monomial by binomial. We're going to do that first. We can multiply two binomials. We'll do that second. And we can multiply binomial by a trinomial. So some exciting stuff. So what exactly is a binomial? We talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. We talked about this in January or February. A binomial is an algebraic expression of the sum or difference of two terms. So basically it's two things that are separated by a addition or a subtraction sign. Binomial. Bilateral means it's on both sides. Bicycle means there's two wheels. A trinomial is an algebraic expression of the sum or difference of three terms. A term is essentially just anything that's been like multiplied by itself or by each other or divided by something. Basically anything that you see like 2x is a term because it is not separated by an addition or subtraction sign. 2x squared is a term. 3x is a term. So anytime you see that it's not separated by addition or subtraction sign, you're basically looking at a term. So 3 times x. If it was 3 minus x, it would be two separate terms. So multiplying with monomials, this is just the basic bare bones distributive property that we did in 7th grade. When we see x out in front, we multiply everything by x. So we multiply x, so we do our little arrows, and we say x to the 4th plus 5x. And let me draw in my little 4 here. Not bad. That used to be a lot worse. So I multiply x times x to the 3rd to get x to the 4th, and 5 times x to get 5x. That should be pretty much review by now. We've been doing that for a while. If we have something a little more complex like 4x squared, and we have a trinomial, we have a monomial times a 1, 2, 3 nomial. Well, this really isn't any more difficult. We just have to use a little bit of a multiplying exponent power principle. So 4 times 6 is 24. We multiply the constants, the numbers first. X squared times x squared, you guys might remember we add the exponents. Minus, I'm going to put the 4th. X to the 4th is what we get. X squared times x squared, we add the squared. 2 plus 2 is 4, x to the 4th. Minus 7x times 4x squared is negative 28, x to the 3rd. Minus 1 times 4x squared is 4x squared. So let's add in those powers we said out loud. 24x to the 4th, 28x to the 3rd, minus 4x squared. So 24x to the 4th, 4x squared times 6x squared. 28 minus 28x to the 3rd, 4x squared minus 7x, minus 4x squared, 4x squared times negative 1. So we just do every part individually, and they all show up in our answer. That's pretty much review. That's multiplying with monomials. You guys can multiply monomial by a binomial. So I can multiply two binomials. You guys might remember this from earlier in the year. We do something, we just distribute everything. I'm going to multiply the first y by both terms. and we're going to distribute the y first. Let's look at it this way. Y times y is y squared, and y plus y times 8 is 8y. So we have y squared plus 8y. Now, so that's, I distributed y through everything, right? I multiplied y times y and y times 8. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take, remember that the negative 3, it's like it's all in a group, right? I multiply everything by negative 3, not just 3. I'm going to multiply negative 3 times y and negative 3 times 8. And we're going to get minus 3y. Negative 3 times y is negative minus 3y. And then 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. So we have y squared plus 8y minus 3y minus 24. So we're going to get y squared plus 5y minus 24. And let me just add my squared. That's a squared. It doesn't look like it. It's hard to write on these things, although you guys know I struggle on whiteboards too. So y squared plus 5y minus 24. I distributed everything through. Y times y times 8, negative 3 times y, and negative 3 times 8. And then I have to combine like terms. So there's just a couple steps. So so we should feel pretty comfortable doing this by now. We can multiply two binomials. I know you guys know how to do that from in the school year. So what if we're looking at multiplying a binomial by a trinomial? I want you guys to pause and try to figure this one out on your own if you feel like you can. I believe you guys should be able to do this. All right, so this is something like this is what we should have done either if we wrote it down on paper or in our head, is we're still going to distribute x through the whole other phrase. X times x squared is x to the third plus x times negative 3x is negative 3x squared plus x, 1 times x. Let's add our exponents. We said x times x squared is x to the third. Negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Plus negative 3x. I probably could have just done minus 3x, huh? And then x times 1, positive 1 is just x. So we distributed x through everything. Now we're going to take our second term, 5, and we're going to multiply that by everything, right? 5 times, and you guys are going to notice I'm going to line these up a lot like we did on Wednesday, right? 5x squared, 5 times x squared, minus 15x plus 5. Negative 3x times 5 is negative 15x. 1 times 5 is 5. And this is x squared. And now we just add everything down the line, right? We get x to the third again, plus 2x squared. Let's get rid of that period. Minus 14x plus 5. X minus 15x is negative 14x. Negative 3x squared plus 5x squared is 2x squared. Let's add our exponents. And 5 plus nothing. The x to the third and the 5 are by themselves. So we just carry them down. So this should be something that we remember how to do. We could label this to the highest degree. We used this chart on Thursday. It's a cubic because the highest degree is the third power. Cubic quadrinomial. Because there's the third power, that's cubic, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So our final product is a cubic quadrinomial. We could label the other ones too if we had wanted to. Now we have one last one that we can do here. We can do this two ways. I want you to try to do this a couple different. You can, whichever way you want to try this, try it at home. I'll pause it, give it a try. All right, so you could distribute k squared to everything, 4k to everything, and 3 to everything. Does that make sense? I'm still distributing everything. That's a little bit more work. Not necessarily any more work, really, but it's harder to keep organized, is what I would say. So I'm going to multiply my binomial by the trinomial. I'm going to distribute my binomial. K times k squared is, so does this make sense? I'm multiplying k right here times k squared to get k to the third. I'm going to multiply negative 4k times k to get negative 4k squared, and then k times 3 to get plus 3k. Okay, so let's put some powers on some of these things, huh? Negative 4k squared, that is a really big 2. Negative 4k squared, and k to the third. So I multiplied k times k squared, k times negative 4k, and k times 3. Now I'm going to distribute negative 2 to everything, right? So negative 2 times k squared is negative 2k squared, right? That's not rocket science for us at this point because we've gotten through factoring and everything. We're pretty used to some of this stuff. Negative 2 times negative 4k is plus 8k. Negative times a negative is a positive. And then minus 6. So negative 2k squared. Now we're going to add down the line like we did on Wednesday. K to the third we still have. Minus 6k plus 11k minus 6 plus 6k squared, and k to the third. So our final answer here is k to the third minus 6k squared plus 11k minus 6. Once again, when we have a binomial by trinomial, it's a little messy, right? It's a little more work. We still multiply every term by every term. K gets multiplied by everything on the other side. Negative 2 gets multiplied by everything on the other side. And our final answer would be right here. So hopefully that's what you guys got. We have a quiz game to practice multiplying binomials with for your homework assignment for today. So go ahead and try that. Submit a screenshot of it when you're done. So hopefully by now we can identify monomials, binomials, trinomials. We can multiply a monomial by a binomial, multiply two binomials, and multiply a binomial by a trinomial. So thank you so much. Email me if you have any questions, and have a great weekend.